All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Concentric Circle YouTube channel. Daniel here, and we have,
What's up, guys? Jake here.
yep. So today we're going to be going over a couple of things, psychological kind of aspect of trading, and things we think you guys should remove that will help you in your journey. So we have a couple topics we're going to talk about, bounce back and forth. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So what's the first topic, Jake?
Yeah, so the first thing that you guys are going to need when coming into the market is just a proper trading mind. I know a lot of people get into trading because they see, flashy money, flashy lifestyle on, Instagram, TikTok, those things, and they're like, I want this life. Um, but the thing about trading is you have to come into it with more of an appreciation for financial markets and an appreciation for mastering your own mind, opposed to just making money. Because obviously, if you've been trading for even just a couple months, you understand there's a lot of roadblocks, and most of that doesn't come from your strategy, right? There's many different models that can, give you an edge in the market, but if you can't execute properly on that edge, you're not going to make any money. You're going to lose money. So the first thing I would say is you need to stop allowing the market to impact your emotional state whatsoever. Okay, people say that you need to be emotionless when you're trading, which I don't fully agree with,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can have emotions. Let's say if you notice you're a little bit uncomfortable inside, things like that, step away. Use that emotion to gauge your mental state. If you're feeling very clear, you can sense the volatility is a little bit higher. You feel comfortable putting on more size at that time because you see the opportunities there. Go ahead and do that. That's not the kind of emotion that will hold you back. The emotion that holds you back is you're presenting your own expectations onto the market, saying, "I want to see this happen." And when that thing doesn't happen and you still force yourself into the trade, you're obviously going to begin to feel, a sense of fight or flight, because we're emotional. The human mind is wants to protect itself, right? So it's going to ultimately start to have a negative feedback loop in that moment. And if you're not able to realize that the only thing you actually have control over is your emotional state and whether you click the button or not,
100%.
then you're just going to keep going down that loop of not being able to listen to yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Emotions are a big thing in trading. Like you said, the strategy is important, but to learn the steps to a strategy isn't the hardest thing. If you tell someone X, Y, and Z, this is the model I trade, you know, it's not too hard to kind of identify those things. What makes, in my opinion, what makes, you know, a trader profitable with the strategy versus another trader unprofitable with that same strategy is the emotions and being able to control your emotions, like you were saying, knowing when to de-risk in certain situations when the market isn't where your strategy isn't performing as well in certain market conditions. Like for example, in August, when liquidity kind of dries up, people are going on holiday and stuff, this is a time you should probably de-risk. And then like a time like now where the strategy and the model is working really well, it's a time we should maybe trade more aggressively. And when it comes to controlling your emotions, I think the best way to do that is, like you spoke about a little bit, off the charts. If you're the person that has no control of your emotions in your day-to-day life, why would you even think that you're going to be able to control your emotions when there's money involved and the potential to make a lot of money or lose a lot of money? Your emotions are going to be elevated. A lot of people's emotions are always elevated when money's in the picture. So
Mm-hmm.
a really important thing for me and Jake was to learn to be more disciplined with our emotions, to have more control in our emotions in our day-to-day life. For example, um, maybe you guys are still at home and you're living with your parents, and maybe your parents upset you one time and you're used to reacting in a bad way or not having control in your emotions. And I'm not saying to never act on emotions, because at the end of the day we're humans, but what I'm saying is to have control. um,
Yeah.
I guess this is kind of sorry. I guess this is kind of going a little too far as well. But maybe you have a girlfriend or something, and she gets on your nerves and stuff. Learning how to control your emotions there will
Hmm.
help you control in the charts. If you really want to win, if you really want to become a good trader, you'll pay attention to these type of things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can kind of make an analogy here. Let's just say we have two people, person A, person B.
Mm,
And person A is just a complete stud. Let's just say they're David Goggins, right? They have complete control over their mind,
yeah.
complete control over their lifestyle and their decisions. But he doesn't even know what a fucking candlestick is, right? He doesn't know a single thing about trading. We have person A, that's the locked in person with no trading experience.
Hmm.
And then we have someone watching this video who's unprofitable but knows multiple strategies, knows all these things about trading, has watched all these videos, but their lifestyle is wake up, eat a bunch of sugar, watch porn, rip the cart, and go to sleep, right? That's their day. No shit, you're not going to be able to control yourself
Yeah.
when you're trading, right? It's
Yeah.
just self explanatory. The person who has literally no trading experience will definitely outperform the person
100%.
who doesn't have their lifestyle in, you know? And I mean, yeah, it's like if your whole life is just chaos and not focused, why would you expect your trading mind to be focused?
Hmm.
If your whole life is focused, why would you expect your trading mind to be unfocused, right?
Hmm.
So it really does go hand in hand. I mean, people say it and you can call it cliche, but it is the truth. So
100%. I think another thing about the emotions, um, it makes it a bit easier to control your emotions. I think this might be the next topic, but I want to touch on it quickly. It makes it easier to control your emotions when you're not paying attention to what others are doing too much, other traders online and stuff, because you might have like you might be experiencing a losing week or maybe even a losing month, unfortunately, and you go online and stuff and you're just seeing all these people cashing and they might be trading different models, different strategies, and you think, oh well, your emotions are telling you, oh well, you're upset, so my strategy isn't working, let me go hop strategy into this one because I see all these people winning. That's another form of not being able to control your emotions, reacting in a poor way to what other people are doing. So yeah, I think you kind of talked about it quickly, but another thing we think is important is on your journey to becoming a profitable trader, to evolving that skill as a trader, I think one of the most beneficial things is going to be kind of to not pay attention to what other people online are doing too much. I think it's important to focus only on what you're trying to learn. So, for example, if you're an order flow trader or a PO3 trader on your journey to learning these concepts, make sure you're only watching or only paying attention to PO3 and order flow traders, and that will just kind of that's the only thing you're feeding your mind. So you're not getting distracted. You're not thinking different things, and you're staying focused on what you want to learn. Because those are really great concepts and really great tools in trading.
yeah, 100% agree. And then I think also people are following people on social media who they're not even necessarily interested in learning from in a trading aspect, but they still are looking every day at what stories they post, what trades they take, and these things. And like even me, who I'm someone who does make money from the market, everyone has losing days, break even days where a trade runs and they got wicked out, right? And if you take that trade and you go on social media and say, oh my god, this guy took the same entry but he was able to hit take profit, all these things, like it's just going to fuck with you and it's going to stick with you going into the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like all you need to do is take that entry, the result is the result. You journal it, you learn from it, and then you go do other things. Like people are too obsessed with the idea of profitability, and they're like, "Oh, my life! Like, I would just be so much happier if I had this one thing." And you really won't be because in trading, like you spend that hour in the morning trading, and then after that, like you have a whole day of other things to get to. You have your body and health to take care of, you have family to take care of and provide for. Like we don't have time to be hung up on the emotions of a trade for the entirety of the day, or else like you're just gonna be so unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
100%.
yeah,
I think what do you call it? When you talked about taking the losing days, that's another thing I think is really important. Is a lot of people focus so much on how to win, how to win, how to win, how to win, how do I catch a winning trade, how do I win a trade, that they kind of forget to focus on how to handle a losing trade, which is equally, if not more important, in my opinion, because you'll hear stories like, okay, people go in a 2 week run of just straight winning, and then they wipe all their profits away by tilting, not controlling their emotions, and usually that tilt starts by taking a loss. Maybe the loss is a little bit more, and that ties into over risking and stuff. But learning how to be good at losing trades is one of the things that helped me so much, because I used to have, like, we all start from somewhere. I used to have really bad emotions when it came to losing trades. I couldn't handle losses, and it just kept eating away my profits, eating away my profits, eating away my progress. And it got to the point where I had to be real with myself. And I didn't want to admit it. I sucked at losing trades. I couldn't handle it. And once I got better at losing the trades and just accepting it and understanding that it's a part of the progress and or the journey, it's a it's how it is. Like no one has 100% win rate, um, and you're going to have
Yeah.
losing days. And it's important when you have those losing days that you're not over risking. You're not over risking. Period. Especially while you're trying to get up there. Like you see a lot of people online and stuff. Maybe they're going in for 4 minis, 3 minis, sizing heavy, and you think, oh, you know, they're sizing heavy, trading a similar model. Why am I not sizing heavy? Well, you have to understand, bro. Everyone's on a different journey. Everyone's at a different point in the journey. So this person might be further ahead than you are. And also on social media, don't believe everything you see. You don't know if these people are actually profitable. They're just posting their wins, whatever the case is. So yeah, I think sizing down while you're trying to get to that level of profitability is going to help, lower the emotions because you're not as overwhelmed
Yeah.
when you're entering a trade. You're not as scared, and it just requires you to be patient.
100%. I mean, yeah, a lot of people like to say like, "Oh, yeah, I trade, so of course I accept the risk." Like I am taking part in a risky activity, but then when they actually go to enter a trade, they clearly don't accept the risk because their hands are shaking and they're nervous and they're moving the stop loss and they're fucking with their executions and position. Like if you actually accepted the risk and understood your entry criteria, you would enter, you would set your stop loss and your take profit and you would let the trade hit how it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you truly accept the risk of a trade, you're not going to have any emotion because you understand that whatever it is, $200 risk on the trade is essentially gone when you press that button.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality. Even if it's a really, really good trade, there's no guarantee that it's going to hit. It's that over a series of trades, your expectancy will be positive if you are trading correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I also, like what you said about like being able to lose, because that is totally a skill. Like being a good loser is a great skill. And that's one thing that makes trading so unique is if you're a loser really anywhere else in life, it's seen as a bad thing. Like if you lose a race, you're slow. If that's examples like that where no one wants to lose. And that's kind of that alpha mentality. A lot of people who are like very, driven people who want to work, think that doing the same in trading is going to, lead to great results. But if you're constantly watching YouTube videos, constantly on the charts, trying to trade, chances are you're just going to have analysis paralysis, kind of fuck yourself over because you're almost trying too hard, right? Like trading should be a kind of peaceful process where you have a calm mind in the morning, right? Maybe some calm music on, a candle, and you're kind of just waiting. Like it should almost feel like watching paint dry on the wall. Like people are like, "Oh, I'm so excited to trade this week," and it's like, "What the fuck are you excited for, bro? Do you want to watch these little bars moving down on the screen? Like, if you're excited, it's because you care about making money,
Mm-hmm.
right? If like it's just be should be another week of work. So that's a big issue. I
Yeah.
see
So
is
like,
the excitement.
what do you call it? Yeah, there's like a couple questions that we talked about before to ask yourself before you enter trade. And that kind of ties back into what we were just talking about with accepting the loss and accepting the risk, and ask yourself if this trade doesn't play out, because again it's not a 100% chance it plays out. If this trade does not play out, will I be okay if it hits my stop loss? Try and imagine, the trade not going your way,
Hmm.
um, and the dollar amount being gone. And if you feel some sort of whatever in your brain, then maybe you're risking too much. And I'm telling you, bro, that helped me so much because, like I said, I was horrible. I used to be horrible at taking losses, and as soon as I de-risked, and I was so used to losing this number, and I de-risked, and I was like, oh, I'm willing to lose this much if the trade doesn't play out. It was so much easier to think throughout the charts, so much easier to navigate the charts and enter my trades. Another thing what you talked about is people being so excited to, trade. It's not the best thing, and it's like when you're entering the charts, you shouldn't be imagining taking the trade. It's more just you're there, you're present, you're watching, and if something presents itself, go ahead and take it. But you shouldn't be
Hmm.
like, oh, I'm going to be trading today. You don't know what the conditions are. You don't know until you look at the charts, and you don't know whether your setup will present itself. So you can't like, and if you get in this
Exactly.
headspace where you're already telling yourself, I'm trading today, I'm trading today, I'm trading today, you're more likely to get on the charts and start trading rather than, okay, I'm on the charts, I'm looking, and I'm observing, And if my setup forms, I take it. And that's why, a lot you hear a lot of the time that trading is like 80-90% just sitting on your hands and 10 to 20% actually executing trades.
Hmm.
Um,
Paid to be patient.
yeah,
But yeah,
what are some next topics we have?
well, just one thing I'll add to what you were saying, like you kind of already said this, but I know a lot of beginner traders, like the only thing when they're pressing buy or sell is literally just emotionally envisioning the feeling of the trade going through your take profit limit. Like
Exactly.
literally like getting dopamine from pressing the button. But you probably never think about that trade running the opposite way and running through your stop loss and thinking about how that would feel. And so, yeah, I mean, if you ask yourself, like, would I be mad if this trade lost? And the answer is no, then you're not going to be emotional because that is you accepting the risk.
Hmm.
But if you say, am I going to be mad if this loses? And then it loses and you're mad, that's because you didn't accept the risk.
Exactly.
Um, so, yeah, I think that's
100%.
definitely a big one.
Right.
And then also just, we didn't really touch on like having variability in your trading system.
Hmm.
A lot of newer traders will be super interested in trading, of course, and so spending a lot of time learning, and they'll end up trading gold, ES, NQ, oil, all these different symbols at different times of the day with different strategies, and it's like let's just try and master one strategy at one time of the day on one asset, right?
Hmm.
Because we don't need all of these different things where like we haven't even mastered a single market. Why are we trading in multiple different ones?
Yeah.
So I think really honing in on what you like to trade. So for me, I trade the first 30 minutes of market open on NASDAQ. I risk 10 points per trade, typically targeting 50 points, 1 to 5 RR per trade. And it's very defined for me. I know that's what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Um, and it's really, really good because it keeps your expectancy how you would expect it to be over a long
Yeah.
time.
A lot of people, like, you might hear the things we're saying, and I was just thinking back to like my old self. If I'm not gonna lie, if I were hearing some of these things, like, I might be like, you guys are kind of corny. Like, who do you think you are talking about this, that, whatever? But at the end of the day, I know how cliche, I know how maybe even cringe you might say it sounds, but if you want to make fucking money in the markets, you will take these things serious because I'm telling you, this is how you do it. We spent years of not making shit, bro, and to the point where we're just, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, you're just so upset, you're so done. So you actually take these things serious, and whether it's corny or not, they fucking work. Um, and that's just how it is. Trading, you gotta be patient. You gotta simplify it. Stop trying to, like Jake said, trade every single asset, trade all times of the day. I'm telling you, I feel like we can speak in these things 100% because we actually did these things. I used to trade all times of the day. I was trading different strategies. I was trading gold, whatever the case is, and I never got good at something until I spent. Yeah, it wasn't quick, but I spent some time trying to master PO3, and
Hmm.
after some time of just sticking to one thing, it started to click, and then that's how I make my money using what I know best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember early in my trading career, I was very uncomfortable dealing with uncertainty, right? So the market's a very uncertain place, right? It's just data being presented to you, and I would be very uncomfortable sitting in front of that, having to make a decision. And I thought, okay, how can I fix this uncomfortability with uncertainty? And I thought I should learn more about the market and learn more strategies. So I mean, I ended up having tons of indicators on my chart, looking at so many different things to the point where I couldn't even, make any sort of analysis because there's conflicting things for any trade I wanted to take. And so I was like, okay, let me just take some time with just myself and the candlesticks, watch the candlesticks form, watch them open and close, see how price actually is delivered,
Hmm.
um, without all these things on top of my chart kind of,
Right.
distracting me in a sense. So, I think, yeah, taking some time to sit with the market and notice the way that it prints and start to build your own kind of concepts around that is really powerful.
Right. 1 second, bro. I
But
apologize.
I mean, honestly, we've dropped a lot of sauce here.
Yeah, 100%.
So we
I
can
think this was a
probably
this
wrap
was a
this one
good
up.
video for sure. If you guys want to know more about the way we trade, the style, etc., and just get into a very educational community, the Discord link will be down below, and we'd love to see you guys in there. Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Appreciate you guys for watching to the end, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Bye,
Peace
guys.
out.
Peace.